Oh, that little thing is underneath. There we go. Come on now.
Hello, my loves. Hello, my loves. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Monique and Sydney's open relationship, baby. It's right here, baby. It's right here. We got it.
All right, baby.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Monique and Sydney's open relationship. Today, I'm excited about the show, as I am all the shows. But I'm really excited about this show
Absolutely.
because we absolutely love the truth, Ruth. And what is this show titled today, Daddy?
Well, before we say the title,
Mm.
we're going to dedicate this show
Yes.
to our brother, Nipsey Hussle.
Yes. Condolences go to that baby's family, to Lauren London. We're hugging you, sister, y'all family. We love y'all babies.
And on behalf of a real soldier in the game, today's show was inspired by brother Steve Harvey,
Come on.
and it's entitled What's Wrong with the Truth?
What's wrong with the truth? The call-in number is 470-282-1802. What's wrong with the truth, y'all? Do y'all know? What's wrong with simply telling the truth? What happens when you just tell the truth?
And this show was inspired again by Steve Harvey, who we happened to watch him the other night on the D.L. Hughley show,
Yes.
where he shared
That the interview that I did with Steve Harvey on his show, they edited the show the way they did was so that he could protect me. Because there was some crazy stuff said, and in him protecting me, he put himself out there. Now, I'm not sure what Steve Harvey is speaking about when he says he was protecting me. And that's what we're speaking of. What's wrong with the truth?
What's Wrong with the Truth. Anybody have any calls, feel free to reach in. Let's go to the
Let's
line.
do it. Hey, baby, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from? Hello. My loves, when y'all call in, know we're going to get to you, babies. Just be patient. Know we're coming. So ask yourself, what's wrong with the truth? Because I think the truth is becoming bad. Would you say?
I think to some. Let's go to the line.
Hey, baby, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, Monique. This is Cece from Harlem.
Hey, sweetness, talk to us.
So I just want to say I was really put off by the interview that Steve Harvey did with you on his show. I thought he was completely out of line from the way that he spoke to you, the fact that he was trying to handle you as if you guys are not equals. And then there was a certain point when he got up and touched you that I felt like, what are you doing? I just thought he was on the line. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the truth. You said what you had to say as you've done a million times. So what exactly was he protecting you from?
We're trying to find out too, baby.
And we're going to find out together.
Thank you, my sweetness. We're trying to find out, y'all, what's wrong with the truth. Because when I watch our brother, Steve Harvey, go on the D.L. Hughley show on TV One, and I watch that interview because what I must be careful of is making sure I'm not taking somebody's word for what somebody else said. So I had to watch it for myself. And when I watched our brother on the D.L. Hughley show pretty much lie. Because when you watch him say, I edited that show to protect Monique, and I got put out there myself.
In doing so.
And
it put me out there as if he fell on the sword for Monique.
So the question would be, and here's what puzzles me with people that are doing the interviewing. You never thought to ask Steve Harvey, what are you protecting Monique from? And what is it that Monique said that needed protection? Because there's nothing at all, nothing that I said on that show that would need Steve Harvey to edit it to give protection. Let's go to the lines. Hey, my baby, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from? Hello?
We just lost it.
Okay, Shugs. Now, if that's you, Steve, damn it, stop playing on the phone.
They coming.
Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hi, this is Shay calling from Georgia.
Hey, Shay.
Hey, Shay.
Hello. Hello. Okay, so here's my opinion. I feel like there's nothing wrong with the truth, especially if you're the one that's telling the truth. The issue is that the people that have to accept the truth, especially when you're referring to them, which means that they have to then, I don't know, they have to accept it and then they have to change. And for a narcissistic person or a person who's always in control, that is something that is going to be very hard for them to do. So there's nothing wrong with the truth unless you're the one that has to accept it and that it's a negative on your side, that you perhaps, after hearing it, you have to change. And I think with Steve Harvey, he's always in the position where people are glorifying him so much. I think he has the type of personality where he just cannot accept that he's wrong. I just really don't think that he can accept it. And also, he feels as though that he has all the answers. With his book, he has all the answers. On his talk show, he has all his answers. But to me, he doesn't. I feel as though he worships the very thing that you shouldn't. And that's the money with the slave master on the front of it. And I feel like what he feels as though he's saving you from, Monique, is that it's about money for him. It's not about anything else but money. He feels as though he's saving you so that you won't lose any money. But clearly, that is not the number one thing for you that's considered important to you. It's him. And you've said this 1,000 times, but for so many people, it doesn't register that you're saying, listen, it's not the money. Most people who say that you're wrong, they just say that you're wrong because you're messing up the money, but you've already stated so many times that that was never your purpose. You know, it's bigger. It's about the people that come behind you, you know, that you have to make sure that you take a stand for. But for people who don't have it, or people who do have it and they're so afraid to lose the money, they feel as though you're wrong because they don't believe in anything else but the money.
Come on.
We love you, baby.
Yeah, so there you go.
We love you, sis, and you hitting it right on the nail, sweetness.
Thanks for sharing your truth.
Bye, baby. Come on, y'all. And that's why we do this show, because this show is about nothing but the truth, even when it don't look good.
Give them the number again. People
Calling numbers 470-282-1802, 470-282-1802. This show is inspired by our brother Steve Harvey. What's wrong with the truth?
Let's go to the lines.
Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Oh my God, I can't believe I got in. Hi Monique, I'm PT in Texas. How are you?
Wonderful, baby. How you doing?
Oh my God, I cannot believe I got in. Hi Sydney, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I know what the subject is about, but Monique, I want to take you back some years back, something that you did for me, and I want to say thank you. Back when you were pregnant with your twins, and you were in Dallas, Texas, I had the opportunity to go behind stage and meet you. Actually, in the dressing room there in Dallas, and you were like, "How did you get a chance to get back here?" And I said, "Well, I know a few people," and I just wanted to say you were so nice to me. And you know, even when you were pregnant, you were just very nice to me, and I've always respected you, and I want to thank you for that opportunity to meet you there in the back dressing room when not too many people can do that. I just want to say thank you, and I support you 120%.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you.
Love you,
And
brother.
keep your head up, baby.
Thank
Keep
you,
your head up.
baby.
Everything's going to be good.
Yes, it is. See, y'all, those calls right there is so much bigger than any award that anybody can ever call my name to the stage for. Because those calls right there were no cameras around. There was nothing. It was that moment. And just as excited as he was about that moment, what people don't understand is so am I.
And what you will keep finding out about this woman right here is that the same person you see in front of the camera is the same person that she is when no one is to see her at all except whoever sees her, and there are no cameras around.
So, Daddy, and I gotta say it, I can deal with for a minute. It took me a minute to understand it when they kept coming with this. She's difficult. He's difficult. It took me a minute, y'all, to grasp that because I'm like, no, y'all, I did this shit right. Like, I did this shit right. I showed up on time. I knew what I was supposed to do. I did it right until my husband had to explain to me, and he said, Mama, it can be difficult for them to hear no when they're so used to hearing yes.
And they rather for us to be obnoxious than to be objective. And what makes us difficult is that we don't deal with things obnoxiously. That's easy. Because then you would have heard how I done cussed this person out, how Monique done cussed this person out, though she's had to cuss some people out.
Yes, I have.
Yes. But not as if they drinking a cup of coffee, eating a sandwich, mind their business, and she just decided, you know what, I might as well just go and walk over there and cuss you out.
Why have I cussed them out?
Why? Because they decided that they wanted to be King Ding-a-ling
Come on.
for the day.
Come on.
And we're like, listen, do you realize when you come out with your private parts just showing to let everybody know you don't mind pissing all over the place, that's called indecent exposure.
That's what it is.
Indecent exposure. And what we're going to say, what they say, the drugs?
Say no to them.
Just say no. We're going to just say no to indecent exposure. So when you have the individual saying, listen, we would like to show you our PPs, okay?
Yeah.
Because you're a woman. What you got coming when it's all these men out here regulating, telling you what to do? And the reason why we do it is for brothers like that just called in. For folks that it's for the people.
It's for the people, y'all. And for the people with no bull. Like, not when we walk away from here, we then become these different people. What you see is truly what you get. And there are a lot of people that what you see is a lie. Because it's not who they are. And that's why we had to do this show today. Because I watched, along with my husband, we watched our brother on the D.L. Hughley show speak about why he edited that the way he did. Because it was to protect me. You want me to go to the lines,
Do it,
Daddy?
baby.
Let's do it. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hi, Monique. My name is Brenda McLeod. I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Hey, Brenda.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm surprised I got through. I've been trying to call for a while. And like the other person that was on the phone, I just want to tell you to keep your head up because I met you some years ago. And you was awesome. I met you at a Thick and Fabulous contest thing in Dallas.
Yes.
And you welcomed me so much. And people were saying that I look like you on the outside. And so I enjoy you. I follow you so much. Like I said, you don't have anything to apologize for. You are doing such a wonderful job inspiring me. I watch your video every day, every day. I lost 130 pounds when I was sick with you. I lost weight too, and everybody kept saying I continue to look like you. And it's just amazing. And I'm so proud of you and Sydney because y'all inspire so many of us every single day.
Thank you so
keep
much,
up the
baby.
Good work.
Thank you, sister.
We
We love you,
appreciate you.
baby.
Come on.
This is why. This is why. And I remember sitting there with Steve Harvey as we spoke about Monique and Sydney's open relationship. And y'all know what my brother said in front of his live audience and as the cameras were rolling? Oh, don't nobody watch that.
Y'all little old podcast.
Yeah, don't nobody watch that little show. And he threw his hand away.
Right. And if I may, what we would ask of Steve if he would be so kind, because again, what we not gonna do is bash him. And again, if we did, see, that's what everyone would see. But what only the folks are gonna see is they don't want to show us saying we've got love for Steve and everybody that we speak about, because it's kind of like having a biological brother or sister that doesn't play by the rules that you're supposed to play by. You don't stop loving them, but in order to show that you love them, you have to have a real conversation with them, because there are a lot of people out there that won't have that real conversation. And what we're saying is, feel free to show the whole interview in its entirety. Don't worry about protecting Monique. Don't worry about it. And then let the people see that after they see the whole show, if it feels more like he was trying to protect himself, or if he feels like he was trying to protect Monique. Because when you have an individual, and please ask him, because this is what's kind of befuddling. If you sit there and you tell a black woman that she's gone about fighting for equality in the wrong way, but then you tell that same black woman that you, Steve Harvey, endured 7 years, what nobody else did on that network. You endured 7 years and nobody else had done that. You would have appreciated if you had gotten a call directly from, I believe you said, the white boys from across the street, but they didn't call you up to let you know you had to find out how? Through social media? So the very stick that you're beating Monique with, or trying to beat her with, in reference to you got to do it by their rules, no different than Tyler Perry, is the same stick that you admitted that they beat you with, because why would you have to find out through other people that you were supposedly losing your job to Kelly Clarkson? Why? So at the end of the day, what's going to really free us as people, and I'm not just talking about black people, because there's a woman that's on this line and you may see her post named Susie Unger. She is a white woman. All day. You can't confuse it. Not mulatto, not Spanish with a little bit of black. She is a white woman. Okay? And that white woman is quick to say, and we've been on calls with white men, and she said the white privilege that is associated with this country is why people don't get her. But if you talk to her and him for a minute or two, you will understand that all they're doing is standing for right. So this is a white woman, okay? Let me say it again. A white woman that has more courage and is standing more for our community than black people. So let us not get caught up into the color of our skin as opposed to the consciousness embodied in the spirit of who we are. I rest my case.
You know, this show is inspired by Steve Harvey, and you say, what's wrong with telling the truth?
What's wrong?
Let's go to the lines and see how they feeling. Hey, baby, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, this is Nettie calling from Detroit.
Hey, Nettie from Detroit.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Oh, I'm glad I got through. I just wanted to say, like I said in the room, the reason why truth sometimes is not disclosed or is scared is because when people really, really start to get to the root of the truth, they start to see how many lies they've been living and how many lies they've been told their whole lives. And a lot of people, instead of reassessing their life, they would rather keep going with the lie, you know? And not to be too religious, I'm very spiritual though. Once you start to denounce God and try to get God out the schools and stuff like that, that's when you start to see all this destruction and you start to see the enemy and his plan is working. It's working very well. out here. So I would say just keep speaking the truth, and even though it hurts or it might seem like you're living a lie, at least try to, um, at least try to. I can't think of the word.
You said it. Live the truth. You said it. You hit it right on the head.
We love you, baby. Live the truth. And why is that becoming so difficult for so many of us to live the truth? Because I gotta tell y'all, when I watch that interview, it's disheartening. And it's not that I take it personal, but I do take it personal. Because I know what you're feeding us is not true. I know you when the cameras ain't rolling.
And here's the thing. When people refer to Steve as a coon, as a sellout, these are slang words that basically are saying, listen, you're taking the path of least resistance. Because I don't believe in calling the cat any names. Because at 51, listen, you done said a lot, you done did a lot. And you get to a point where if you really want to have a reasonable and rational conversation and get somewhere, calling somebody a name when the truth will work. And I understand why people say it, but you must understand the society we live in today has been engineered for us to submit in the way that Steve, Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, Will Packer appear to be doing. When you have those individuals, I don't want to sit here and say that they're terrible people. No, they're probably great people. You sit down and have a cup of coffee, a beer, a couple caramels with them, and you just shooting the shit. Great people to talk to, I'm sure. But talented, but talent is not indicative of consciousness. Talent is not indicative of you being willing to stand up and have a real conversation in public like you would in private. See, it was easier for Tyler Perry to call and say to Monique, you weren't wrong. You were right. And if it was me, I would want somebody to speak up for me like you're saying I should do for you. But what's difficult is to do what it is that you said you were going to do, and that is speak up, tell the truth, tell the world she wasn't wrong. And I don't know the president of Lionsgate. I don't know his name off the bat. But what I will say is, brother, the power that you have, you should be able to come out and say, after hearing everything and following up and finding out that we didn't have a contract with Monique to really legally ask her for anything. We were really asking her for a solid. So how can you blackball somebody because they wouldn't do a solid for you? And the fact that you're not supposed to be able to, but the fact that the answer lies into, that's why Steve acts the way he acts, because he knows if you don't do what it is that they tell you to do,
come on,
that they can take everything that he believes away from you. But what we're saying is they can't take away your will to have integrity.
Come on. Let's go to the line. Oh shit, Daddy, I messed it up.
That's all right.
Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. So listen, if you're just joining us, today's show is inspired by our brother Steve Harvey. What's wrong with the truth? And as I said, when you know people when the cameras aren't rolling, and you start watching what they're saying and you're listening to them, and you say, do I speak about that or do I just keep my mouth shut? Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
We lost.
Shit.
We're going to get you. Keep on calling in. 470-282-1802.
We're going to get the damn thing.
We're going to get it.
But when I was there at that taping. I was sitting right there across from him.
roast us on.
And again, when you say the protection, who was Steve Harvey protecting? Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
How you doing,
Hey.
Mr. Sydney?
Hey,
Hey.
baby, wonderful.
This is Chris out of Wichita. And I want to say what's wrong with the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts a little more when it's from a certain person. When, like, for example, I don't know you and Mr. Harvey relationship, but y'all came up in the comedy game together and seen each other blossom. You get what I'm saying? You didn't glorify your success off money. You glorified your success off success. So when I was looking at the show, it's like he kept, his body language kept getting like sideways with you when he kept asking why. And when you try to let other people in to do better than you. And it was like, to me, I don't know him personally, but he's like my brother. Sometimes he lies so much that it sounds like the truth. Like, no one's like, I mean, like I said, I don't know him. I never met him a day in my life. I never met you, but he comes up like my brother. My brother can lie so good, he even sounds like the truth to him. And it's like, I see where he was going, but it was like when he tried to narrate your truth, I'm like, when y'all grow up together, some people just grow apart and grow different. That's fine. But just because you're programmed doesn't mean I got to be programmed the same way.
Come on, baby.
We appreciate
We
that.
love you, brother.
Also, I'm sorry.
No,
were you
Daddy.
in the Mississippi?
No, Daddy, you go ahead.
Also, last night when he was with DL and they were telling the story, and DL was saying how they were using Steve's old comedy show to imply the correlation between him saying in his comedy bit that for $4 million he would eat stuff off himself like a monkey, and at $10 million he would come swinging in on the vine.
Yes.
And he was like, them just was jokes like that ain't. And my thing is, I find it interesting that when you are standing on stage unapologetically saying to Oprah, to Lee, and to Tyler what they could taste of yours if you had one.
Come on.
And though someone would say, oh, that is vulgar, it did not come from a place of they were just sitting there minding their business and all of a sudden I went for them.
Come on.
Monique was sharing her truth. So we can't ridicule that. Just like if you're gonna not ridicule Steve because he shared his truth, then you can't ridicule Monique. And I would rather be on the side where I'm saying to somebody, because of how they acted, I'd rather you taste the inner regions or the outer regions of my loins. Okay. Then to say for $4 million,
come on,
I would act like a monkey. For $10 million, I would swing in on a vine. And then on your television show, when it got heated, there was no edits. And you said from the top of your head, you cannot allow your integrity to get in the way of your money. Because I'm not going to let my family crumble over my integrity. Well, how do we not think that it was some reality in what he was saying on stage in his actual beliefs when you heard him on the show? Because where does your comedy come from, Mama?
My truth.
Oh, okay.
It comes from my truth. And I have to speak. You just brought up a great point. When DL says to Steve, that's just your comedy. That's what you do on stage. Well, why wasn't my shit just my comedy? And that's what I do on stage. So to show you the gender bias, even amongst our own people. When Steve Harvey did it, that was just his comedy. When I did it, I messed up the integrity of the game. Now, I want y'all to go back and listen to what this brother says. I wasn't saying, this is what he said, I wasn't saying integrity over money. I was saying the integrity in which the way you said it. That's when I wanted to say, nigga, what? But okay, I'm growing. And that's when you say, brother, what are you saying? And don't y'all find it ironic? See, the part that they did cut out, I believe, was Steve Harvey saying, I'm going to call Oprah and Tyler. I really don't know Lee, but Lee too. And I'm going to set this meeting up and it's going to be public. That's what Steve Harvey said. I've not heard any more from Steve Harvey. And with all this protection, let's
Come on.
keep the shit on the table.
Take them home.
All this protection. See, let's go back. When the Monique show got canceled by Deborah Lee from BET,
say it.
I heard Steve Harvey say, didn't nobody tell me this? I heard him say, because the callers were calling in and they were saying, the hell with this. What do we have to do? We can't let this show be taken off the air. And I'm going to quote Steve. I talked to Monique and everything is okay. She got it. Everybody back down.
Now, did you say that you got that from hearsay?
No, Daddy.
Did you say that Veronica Miller had told you that?
No, sir.
Because we don't even know who Veronica
I don't know
Miller
who
is.
she is.
Okay, then.
I heard that.
For yourself?
For myself. See, when he talks about I did it to protect her, I heard him for myself say, Monique's burned too many bridges. And there's nothing I can do for her now. See, y'all, I heard this. And here's the thing, when y'all get to questioning, well, Monique, why don't you just let it go and let God? Listen, y'all go ahead and follow that path. You follow that path. It's been 10 years of our lives. Where you hear a black man say, I did it to protect her, but you knew about the shit when it first went down, and then you played a part of it.
And what happens is, another reason why we have to continue to have this conversation, and why I have to stand by Monique's side, my best friend, my wife, my girlfriend, my mistress, my sister, my mama. Why I have to is because if I don't, I'm missing the opportunity to show the world the black men that are out here. And it's not just me, because what oftentimes that people will look at is a black man like Steve Harvey and think that is indicative of our whole community. And I want to be clear. He's a solid cat, and I believe he loves our people, but I believe that there's a level of influence that money has that may kind of sometimes our people may take a back seat in a way in which is not what he would want to be, but sometimes it comes out because he does take these kids out, these young brothers, and mentors them during the summer when he could be doing anything else. So that's why I got to be clear. But what also has to be clear is that when they say, for instance, your husband has ruined her career, the reason why I ruined her career is because what I didn't do was have the same conversation with her that Steve Harvey was trying to have. See, what I didn't do was tell my wife, you know that these white men are very powerful. You know Oprah, you know Tyler, you know they're very powerful. And I know it's wrong to go out there and do it, especially when you don't feel like doing it. But I'm going to need you to go ahead out there and do that and do the dance because you win and you just don't know what may happen. I'm going to say it again. You just don't know what may happen. But you know what's going to happen if you don't do it. And what I couldn't say is, because you're choosing to stand for what's right, I can't stand with you because it's too tough. Because I'd rather take the path of least resistance. Why don't we just make it easier for ourselves? But we'll allow it to be harder for the next folks.
Come on.
Because they won't understand why they've accomplished all of what they've accomplished, but they've only been offered $500,000 to do something with all of it is that they accomplished. But if Monique was to take it, she would be setting the people up behind them for failure, because what people are not paying attention to, how many black women in the almost 100-year history of the Oscar Awards have won? I believe it's like 9, so that equates to about 1 every decade.
Come on.
So when you have that, and you are setting the bar, as a black woman who happens to be a comedian, and there's no other black female comedians. Again, somebody would say, well, what about Whoopi Goldberg? She is a comedic actress, but she ain't getting up there telling jokes. She deals in the satire. But to get up there and stand up and tell jokes, she would be lowering the expectations for the sisters that came along that did what it is that she's doing and has done. So we can't cut the legs out from the people that haven't even had a chance to come up yet, because we had the privilege, or my mama had the privilege of meeting a sister named, let's get her name right,
Sylvia Tremore Morrison.
Sylvia Tremore Morrison.
Yes, sir.
Please tell them who she is.
She is the first black female writer on Saturday Night Live. This woman does over 1,000 impressions. When I tell y'all, she's one of the baddest sisters out there that we never knew about.
That we never knew about.
And I had the honor of playing with her on stage in Las Vegas this past weekend, and she was mind-blowing. And when she began to tell me her story, it was breaking my heart to hear this black woman with so much talent say, they had me as an associate writer at Saturday Night Live. And when you're an associate writer, they don't have to pay you.
But because you're looking for an opportunity to get in, and how did she end up being an associate writer on Saturday Night Live? What was it that she had done?
She did a roast. She hosted the roast for Muhammad Ali at the Apollo in Harlem, New York. She was so amazing, y'all. Muhammad Ali himself came up to her, put her hand up in the air and said, no woman can do me, and you a woman doing me. And that's how she got the associate writer gig at Saturday Night Live.
Now, if you want to have a little comedic history, that same event, in terms of a roast for Muhammad Ali, there was another person that came in and was spot on with Muhammad Ali, who you do know, who is an incredible comedic actor.
Come on.
His name is Billy Crystal. But see, that moment changed his life.
Yes.
From being a school teacher to being who you know is a bad man.
Come on.
Okay? You can't take away the props. He's a bad man. But what happens is you don't get a chance to know about that bad woman.
Come on.
Because she was black.
So when you have brothers like Charlemagne the God, it tickles me to say that. When you have our brothers like Steve Harvey, when you have our brothers like Lee Daniels, and our brothers like Tyler Perry, and they're pretty much saying, black woman, shut up and sit down.
And our sister.
I was just naming the brothers. Please believe I was not going to leave our sister Oprah Winfrey out of the box. When you have them saying, shut up and sit down, and those aren't their exact words, but that's the subliminal message. When you have them saying it, well, it got so easy for everybody to jump on how difficult Monique was and how difficult her husband is, because everybody might be able to get an opportunity from these people, so we won't dare go against what they're saying. Y'all, that is damaging our community.
And Dr. Phil.
Oh, please.
Dr. Phil, we came on your podcast, Fill in the Blanks.
Yes, we did.
We waiting for our episode to air because you shared with us, ever so kindly, that Monique was right in the position. And you said, and I quote, your street is big.
Come on.
You have Tyler, you have Steve, you didn't know Lee. Nobody seems to know Lee like that.
They don't seem to know him like that.
And you got Oprah on your speed dial.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make that conversation happen.
Yes.
Okay. And share with Monique why she should be open to having a conversation and giving advice that wasn't needed, because had he done a little homework, he would know that this is what we've been welcoming. So at the end of the day, we're saying, why would very important people like Steve, who says, I'm going to get y'all to have this conversation. Dr. Phil, I'm going to get y'all to have these conversations.
Tyler Perry, I'm going to tell the people the truth.
I'm going to tell them the truth. Oprah, she does what Oprah does. She goes in hiding. She won't have a conversation unless you lied to her and she can prove it. Now I'm going to pull you out into the light. But here's what's the craziest thing. All that had to be said was, you know what, guys? Y'all right. Y'all, we acted in a way that we wouldn't want to deal with that if it was us.
Come on.
And we were wrong for putting it on y'all.
Come on.
But as our sister said earlier, who called, when you live in a world that people put you up so high, and they say, we love you, we love you, we love you. Perhaps they do. But when you really love somebody, set them free. No, that's thing. My bad. When you really love somebody,
I like it.
tell them the truth.
Tell them the truth. And I know, again, damn it, there are going to be those of you saying, Monique, what y'all doing? Oh, what we're doing is we got to make sure we leave something for the ones that's coming. When you hear our brother, Nipsey Hussle, who lost his life, because that brother was in that community saying, come on, y'all, let's stand together. Let's purchase our own. Let's own our own. Let's do something. Let's unite.
It's one thing to have somebody on TV saying, I love this performer, I love this entertainer. But when they were saying what they were giving back to the community,
come on,
and they crying because they know that the community that they live in has been affected by his absence, or what's going to be his absence, we got to show love to that cat. And that's why we saying we got to tell the truth, because that's a young brother.
And this is us showing love to Steve Harvey.
Yes.
Please understand.
And Oprah.
Please.
And Tyler.
As
and
I
Lee.
watched that interview, as I watched it, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at our brother saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because you know you're lying right now. You know there's nothing I said on that show at all that you have to protect me from, but there's quite a bit that you said, Steve. So what we would ask is, let the people see it. Now, what he did say to me was, because we did talk. Now, we ain't talked since. What he said to me was, yeah, my son is going to edit the show.
Come on.
But that's going to be the one for TV. But the whole show is going to air on my website. Now, when you tell DL it was 52 minutes long, it was. Let him see it.
Let them see it.
Let them see all 52 minutes, because, again, we want y'all to decide. We want y'all to decide who is Steve Harvey protecting, because when have y'all known me? Now, I done said some shit. I done said it.
Like Congress is trying to subpoena the Mueller report for everyone to be able to read, we should ask Brother Steve, reach out to him, show us the whole interview. Because here's the worst thing that can happen out of all of this. They can find out that they're actually human beings that make mistakes and then admit to it.
And listen, I've made them.
I made them.
And when y'all say the truth hurts, let me tell you something. God damn it, it does. Because I've had to have some conversations with my husband that has taken me to my knees, where I'm saying, oh my God, you going to make me face me like that? That's how you're going to make me deal with me? But it's helping me to be better. I'm not saying I've reached it, because God damn it, I'm still wild. Okay. I'm glad you ain't say nothing.
What's to say? You said it.
But I still have my challenges. I still have work that needs to be done.
Everybody does. But when you can say, yo, my bad, that's on me. Excuses are tools of the incompetent. And for many people, they have a tendency of using them as their tool. Don't be that person. Don't make up excuses when all you got to do is say, you know what? If you was under the impression that I was more than a human, this event right now has revealed it to everyone. We just people.
And I'm not sure what's going on with Sister Essie Berry. I just keep reading the comments. Steve is using your likeness to explain S.E. Barry. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. So we'll find.
Yeah, we'll find that out.
Let's go to the lines. Hey, you on with Monique and Sydney? Who's this and where you're calling from?
I made it on. My name is Maurice, and I'm calling from Savannah.
Hey, Maurice from Savannah. Talk to us, baby.
I'm doing good. Thank you. How y'all doing? Glad to be talking to y'all. But I was listening to the live and everything like that, and one thing that I just want to make sure you're aware of is that I think patience is going to work in your favor. Like when I first watched the Steve Harvey sit down with you and everything, like my initial reaction is I was agreeing with Steve. The line that he got me that made me so passionate was when he was like, just because you want to make a statement, you can't risk the kids and the grandkids just because you want to make a statement. And that line hit me a certain way, and I was like, Steve, I agree with that. Monique got to calm down her horses. But over time, I started to realize, no, Maurice, you are absolutely wrong. Like, Steve is wrong. Like, at some point, he needs to go talk to his kids about the lifestyle that they live and how they're able to live it. But sometimes, unfortunately, it keeps others out for them to live that life. Like, you got to go have an honest conversation with them. So I just want to say, be patient. I think people are going to come on to that. Like, we are starting to come on to it. You have a wonderful husband. I love you, Mona. Like, I really, really love you. Like, I'm a big fan. So, like, I love you guys' relationship and everything. And I really think, just we're in a society where it takes people time to realize those gems and the type of valuable information you guys are giving out. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. Like, and stay in the fight, because I truly believe that the tides will turn and we will all see that you was right from the beginning.
Come on now.
Thank you, my baby. We love you, brother.
There's an old saying, repetition brings on retention. We only having the conversation repetitively because at some point people are going to remember what it is that we're talking about, and we're not the only ones having this conversation. When you leave us, share the conversation.
Please share the conversation. And I gotta say, hey, Daddy, to our sister in the room, Miss Monifa. Hey, sweet baby. There are those people that are entertainers, and there are those people that have beautiful hearts that are entertainers. And Monifa just happens to be one of them. Every time I've seen that sister and her wife, it ain't been nothing but love. And I'm talking that kind of love, that cookout love. Like that kind when you hug each other, you're like, what's going on?
Right, the flower on your fingertips.
We love you, sweet baby.
Chicken and the egg wash.
We cannot be afraid of the truth, y'all.
We cannot.
And again, let's be brave enough to ask Brother Steve Harvey to air the whole show.
Please.
Because again, when I watched him yesterday, with D.L. Hughley, I didn't like the cowardly way he was handling it. Now, earlier today, I said something different. And my daddy had to say to me, Mommy, it's not that they're cowards. They just handle some situations cowardly.
Well, it's not that we want to call people names and attack them. What we want to address is what it is that's being done. Because, again, we're not looking for conflict. We're looking for conversation.
Come on.
Because the conversation is going to help us not have to have conflict with folks if they would just take the time to be strong enough to have a conversation. And here's the thing. It takes more nuts. It takes more courage to have a real conversation than it does to throw your hands up and think you want to fight somebody. Think you want to fight somebody. Because anybody that's ever been in a fight know when you've been in a fight for a minute, 2 minutes, you get too old for all of that.
Come on.
The real deal is let's have a real conversation so we can change the community. Because as we've said before, do you understand the magnitude and the implications that would be made or had if they were able just to say, you know what? With all the media questions, why hasn't anyone ever asked Tyler Perry, did you say to Monique,
come on,
that you were going to let the world know that she wasn't wrong? And at this point, I think he would already know they would know the answer. And he would have to say, well, yeah, Well, why haven't you done that then?
Right.
With all the media. So when we talk about a black woman being protected, my feeling is this. As I'm sitting here next to Monique, I'm really not just sitting next to Monique. I'm sitting next to the sisters out there that when you go through it, and it seems like you don't have anybody to talk to, I'm saying you need some men, the opposite sex on your side to make you understand that there's people out here that love, respect you, understand the magnitude of your value. And in fact, it's incomprehensible, the magnitude. And when she sits here next to me, well, she's not just sitting next to me. She's sitting next to the brothers that's saying, listen, you might feel like you neglected, but there's a lot of sisters out here that love you. You may be with one. And just if you have a mate, we are just a representation of that to say, listen, what they will try to do is separate you.
Yes.
See, you'll see episodes of Monique and Sydney's open relationship.
But you'll just only see me. Just me. And they've so kindly, politely, rudely just blocked Sid out. And Monique said, it's like, y'all, that's fearful. That's fearful, because why else would they do that? So, in my humble opinion, to see this type of relationship, to see this type of love, and I don't want to just say black love, I just want to say love, period. Because when I'm at that show in Vegas and there are white women coming up to me, hugging me, whispering in my ear, I love Monique and Sydney's open relationship. They make us believe, don't nobody watch but black. Love, period. When you're seeing this type of love, it's like, y'all, that's not what we can have. We can't have that. So now we got to paint this picture of these people. And when they painted that picture, and you had Steve Harvey with that paintbrush stroking some of those strokes, and then you add fire to it by going on the D.L. Hughley show saying, I was protecting her. Show it. Show it. Because again, there are some things our brother said that I'm not sure if there are some people that would appreciate those words.
If there were some people that did not look like Steve Harvey, that individuals are under the impression that he is trying to make an impression for them, and I believe he did make an impression.
Yeah, he did.
See, but he can't take back what they heard. He was just trying to take back what it is that you hear. And that's the difference. But we are asking him ever so kindly, if your true intention was to protect Monique, because these types of conversations can help the community, she's saying, I'm willing to forego the protection so that if I am in fact wrong, our community can benefit from me being incorrect.
Let me say this. I ain't no perfect sister walking. I ain't the light. I don't have all the answers. Matter of fact, listen.
Oprah's the light.
I'll let her be that.
That's what she
Shine
said.
your light on everyone.
Do it.
But that I am not. I'm flawed. I'm imperfect. I'm all of that shit.
Why don't we just say we?
I'm sorry, Daddy.
We.
Well, give me a kiss. We are. So again, when we're having these conversations, if they can pull out something that we've done wrong, pull it out. Pull it out. Let's discuss it. Let's address it. And again, when we've got our brothers and sisters, children, being gunned down in the streets, being gunned down. And yes, Nipsey Hussle, brother, please enjoy your next journey. But that brother is one of many who was saying we got to stand, we got to make a difference, we got to make it better. I'm going to tell you who's not making it better. Steve Harvey, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, Will Packer. Let's not be fooled, y'all, when the cameras are just rolling. I've experienced those people when the cameras aren't. And if someone was to say that about me, I want to talk about it and I want to deal with it. And if I know it's going to make a difference for the community that I so stand up and say I'm standing for, then let's stand for it. But again, to watch my brother, our brother, go on that show and lie to D.L. Hughley? And D.L., you not asked the right, you got so caught up in, I saw you was protecting her. Did you?
And Mr. Overett, when you said, Sydney, please stop being so needy. I don't know what you're referring to, but I can tell you what I do need. I do need to be in the relationship that I'm in. I can tell you something else. When a moment ago, when I was just speaking in reference to we, if that's what you're referring to, I was referring to that we are flawed. Not just her by herself. We are flawed. And we're very comfortable with saying this because what we're not trying to project here is that we have all the answers, because through this community, through this group, we can find the answers together, but we're sharing our personal experiences. And when you get to be a little over half 100,
come on, Daddy.
okay, when you get an opportunity to see again and understand a few things, and again, we're just sharing ideas right here with everyone.
So, for those of you who get it, wonderful. For those of you who don't, stick around. Because there was some times, y'all, that I didn't get it. There were times in this relationship that I did not want to deal with the truth. I remember one time I was pregnant and we were coming back from the doctor's office. And I can't remember what I said. And Sid had said something to me. And I remember me saying, listen, I don't know if I'm going to be able to deal with you checking me all the time. I don't need all of that. And he said, so what you're saying to me is you don't want to have to think before you talk? Now y'all see how quiet it got? It was that quiet in the car because I had never been challenged to it. I just say, don't check me. And they was just supposed to say, all right, then it was going to turn into an argument that was going to be done. He's made me think. He's made me think. And that's one of the biggest gifts that my husband could have given me. Along with loving me unconditionally and in ways, y'all, I can't even explain. So for the ones that says, oh, Sydney, get over it and move on and go on, I understand. Because you haven't got a Sydney yet. So I get it. Whomever that special person is for you yet, you haven't experienced it. So you can't begin to understand why I'm so proud that my husband would do the show, because I asked him, Daddy, please do it, because the conversations he was having with me, y'all, I'm a brick wall. It's hard to break through. But those conversations he was having was taking me to my knees. At the same time, it was saving my life.
And if you're closed-minded, you may have a Monique, you may have a Sydney, or most importantly, you may have the right person for you. But if you close-minded to the realities that are around you, you will be unfamiliar with the fact that that person is the right one for you because you've closed yourself off to what is best. And again, it's kind of like Night of the Living Dead or one of those zombie apocalyptic movies where these people are walking around, but it's as if they're disconnected. And that's what we're finding with these people who are just focused in on money. What we're saying through this conversation is, let's get to the land of the living, where your life is not predicated solely on money, and the lies that you tell or what makes you abandon the truth is because you don't want to fall from financial grace.
Come on.
When you start living for what's true, then watch how your life changes. And then if you have some money, well, damn.
Come on.
That should just enhance it, but it's not going to make it. Mama, it's that time.
It is that time, my sweet babies. Daddy, that went fast.
That's how it does.
We want to thank y'all, my loves. And thank y'all for being so patient on the phone lines. We want to thank each and every one of y'all for listening. Because y'all could have been doing anything else, but y'all came and you shared your time with us. So please tell a friend, tell another friend, then tell how many more?
Many more.
10 more, Daddy.
Okay.
Many more. Like my daddy always says, the mind is like a parachute.
It is no good unless it's open.
We love y'all.
For free.
Mwah. And tell Steve to play that damn interview.
Tell